Stop it. Never put your hands on me. What on earth are you on about? What are you gonna do about it? 3 different men, 3 different rooms, spread across half a century of Hollywood. And every one of them is doing the exact same thing. They are drawing a line. A reporter, a photographer, a host. Somebody just crossed from doing their job into open disrespect. And these are not men who absorb it, smile, and move on for the sake of good press. These are the ones who stop the whole machine cold and make the other person own what they just did. Because fame at this level comes with an unspoken contract. You give the press access and the public a piece of yourself, and in exchange, you grin and take whatever gets thrown at you. Most celebrities sign that contract every day. The men in this video tore it up. What you are about to watch is not just stars getting angry. It is a reclamation of agency. The refusal to let fame become a license for anyone to walk up and treat you however they want. And the gap between the quietest of them and the loudest tells you almost everything about how power actually works. Let's start with the version that is pure comedy. February 2014. Samuel L. Jackson is doing a live satellite interview to promote a movie, and the reporter on the other end congratulates him on his Super Bowl commercial. One problem. That commercial starred Lawrence Fishburne, a completely different actor. And Jackson does not let it slide for a second. What Super Bowl commercial? The reporter realizes the mistake and scrambles. Let's talk about the movie. And Jackson slams that door shut. Oh, hell no. Really? Really? There must be a very short line for your job.
My mistake, I apologize. Really, my big mistake. Let's talk about...
There must be a very short line for your job.
I'll say.
Then he holds the man hostage on live television, calmly listing which black actor does which commercial, stretching the punishment out for minutes. One person wrote that the anchor lunging for the movie pivot out of pure panic is the funniest thing ever broadcast, and that Jackson made sure he suffered for every second. That is the gentlest version of zero tolerance. Public, surgical, funny. Nobody gets touched, but the temperature only climbs from here. Move into the formal press conference where the questions turn personal. September 2015. Tom Hardy is at a festival promoting a film where he plays a gangster who happened to be openly bisexual, and a reporter uses that as a doorway to interrogate Hardy about his own private life.
In the film, your character Ronnie is very open about his sexuality, but given interviews you've done in the past, your own sexuality seems a bit more ambiguous.
Hardy does not get loud. He goes cold. He stares and asks flatly, "What on earth are you on about?"
Yeah, about their sexuality.
What on earth are you on about?
The reporter stammers. Hardy presses him to actually say what he means. "Are you asking me about my sexuality?"
Are you asking me about my sexuality?
When the guy nervously says yes, Hardy shakes his head, laughs once, and asks, "Why?"
Sure.
Why?
And before the reporter can recover, he ends the whole thing with one frosty word. "Thank you. Done."
Thank you.
Okay.
Well, all right.
He later called the question inelegant and humiliating. Whose business is it anyway? That same year, Robert De Niro showed the other clinical option. Not silence, departure. He was grinding through a junket for a light comedy when a journalist asked how he keeps from going on autopilot on set, then needled him about his old New York neighborhood selling out to wealthy bankers. To De Niro, those were not innocent questions. They were insinuations that he was coasting on his legacy. So he told her to stop recording, popped out of his chair, and started pacing. He was done, he said, citing what he kept calling the negative inference of every question. The whole way through, and I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it, darling. When she called him condescending, he turned at the door. "Oh, you think darling is condescending?" And he walked. The interview was over because he decided it was. But if you want this done at the highest level, you watch Denzel Washington. He does not raise his voice, and he does not walk out. He stays in the room and makes you sit in what you just said. Go back to 2004, he is promoting a political thriller, and a veteran anchor tries to bait him into a culture war fight by asking whether, quote, Hollywood folks should stick to acting and stay out of politics. He does not get defensive. He rejects the label itself. I don't know what Hollywood folks are, first of all. He literalizes it until it falls apart, tells her that is like calling her a type of folks. She tries to rephrase. He says coolly, "Ah, there you go." She panics. "Stop, stop, stop." He calmly answers, "No, don't stop." And then the line that ends it. "I'm not that either. I'm a human being. My job is acting." And here is a detail you have to know, because it is a perfect example of how reputation gets twisted. For years, a viral email claimed that in this exact interview, Denzel exploded, screamed "you people" at the anchor, and launched a furious political rant while a horrified co-star shook with rage. None of it happened. It was fabricated and later thoroughly debunked. The real exchange was calm and quiet from start to finish. He never once raised his voice. The myth had to invent an angry black man because the truth did not fit the story people wanted. A man calmly refusing to be put in a box. Remember that, because it comes back at the end. And the calm is not just for interviews. May 2025. Denzel, now 70 years old, is on a red carpet at one of the biggest film festivals in the world when a photographer reaches out and physically grabs his arm to pull him into a pose. Denzel gives him a warning. The photographer laughs in his face and grabs him a second time, and the pleasant red carpet smile vanishes. Denzel walks straight up to him, points a finger in his face and says, without ever yelling, "Stop it!" And then the line that went around the world. "Never put your hands on me." Quiet. Absolute. The full menace of every character he has ever played, delivered at conversational volume. One person wrote that the entitlement to manhandle a 70-year-old legend is insane, and that Denzel handled it with terrifying grace. And then there is the one that lives at the far volatile end of this spectrum, Mike Tyson. And I have to be honest with you here because this is the most complicated moment in the entire video. September 2014, Tyson is doing a live daytime interview in Toronto. It starts friendly, and then the anchor pivots and suggests that Tyson's public support for the city's controversial mayor could be a liability because, in his words, Tyson is a convicted rapist. Now, that is a documented fact. Tyson served 3 years in the 1990s for exactly that. But Tyson experiences it as a trap, a personal grenade dropped to manufacture a viral clip. And he goes off. "Some of your words hurt." Then, pointing across the desk, "You come off like a nice guy, but you're actually a piece of shit." The anchor, panicking, tries to calm him. "Come on, Mike." Tyson gives no ground, escalating to "rat piece of shit." And when the anchor tries the card every daytime host reaches for, "We're on live TV," Tyson just stares at him. "What are you going to do about it?" That line is why people call this the peak. In one sentence, he shattered the illusion that the broadcast itself has any power over him. The host thought "we're live" was a leash. Tyson showed him it was nothing. But here is where this one refuses to be simple. Because the crowd split hard. One person wrote that they cheered louder for this than any Tyson knockout, that the anchor dropped a bomb on purpose to go viral and expected Tyson to smile and take it, and that he found out. But someone else said the quiet part out loud. It is baffling how people defend him. He threw a tantrum because a reporter correctly referenced his criminal record, and somehow the public treats Tyson as the victim. And the further back you go in Tyson's history, the darker it gets. In 2002, he aimed one of the most vicious, homophobic, openly threatening tirades in sports history at a reporter who had called him unstable. It was genuinely menacing, and it is not something to celebrate. So this is the one case in the video where zero tolerance for disrespect gets genuinely murky, because sometimes the line a powerful man enforces is the one that keeps the truth about him at a distance. The last two skip words entirely. They go straight to the body. July 4th, 2024. Danny Trejo, 80 years old, is the guest of honor in a parade, riding in a vintage convertible. He had lost his 16-year-old dog just days earlier, so he was already raw. A water balloon comes flying out of the crowd and hits him in the face, and then he hears someone yell one word: acid. For a man who survived prison and a violent past, that word does not land as a prank. It lands as an attack. So the 80-year-old unbuckles, climbs out of the car, and charges into the crowd. He throws the first punch, gets tackled to the pavement by men a third his age, gets back up, grabs a metal folding chair, and hurls it into the scrum before bystanders pull him off. Afterward, he was openly remorseful. "I'm so sad that I behaved the way I behaved," he said. One person summed up the mood perfectly. He is 80, his dog just died, and he heard the word acid. Anyone judging him has never been in a life or death moment. Protect Danny at all costs. And then, the original. The blueprint for all of this, from long before the internet or viral clips. June 1973. A notorious photographer named Ron Galella had spent years stalking famous people, and he tracked Marlon Brando through New York to a private dinner in Chinatown. Brando asked him to leave. Galella refused and shoved a camera in his face. So Brando turned and threw a single bare-knuckle punch that broke the photographer's jaw and knocked out 5 of his teeth. Galella sued, and Brando paid $40,000 to settle. But the lasting image is what came after. For years, whenever Galella had to photograph Brando again, he showed up wearing a literal football helmet. That is what zero tolerance looks like when it gets carved into legend. A grown man in a helmet, terrified of one punch. And that legend-making is where we have to end, with a warning. Because a reputation for zero tolerance does not just protect you. It starts writing stories about you that may not even be true. For 20 years, a wild tale has followed Wesley Snipes off the troubled set of a vampire movie. According to claims his co-star Patton Oswalt has told on podcasts, Snipes allegedly strangled the director, communicated only through post-it notes signed "From Blade," and refused to even open his eyes for a scene, forcing the effects team to paste digital eyeballs onto his closed lids. And the strange part is, the CGI eyes are real. You can see them in the movie. But Snipes has firmly and repeatedly denied the rest, and argues that the whole legend leans on an old, ugly stereotype, the angry black man, used to paper over a badly managed production. One person captured the appeal of the myth perfectly. Whether the strangling story is true or not, CGIing your eyes open because you refuse to act is the pettiest, funniest power move in film history. And that is the trap. The story is too good to check, so it just becomes true. And that is really what all of this is about. Not just a highlight reel of celebrities snapping, though it is definitely that. It is about what happens when someone treated as public property decides, in front of everyone, that there is a line. Denzel drew it with a finger and a whisper. De Niro drew it by standing up and walking out. Tyson drew it by daring a room to stop him. Trejo and Brando drew it with their hands. And Snipes is the reminder that once you are known for drawing that line, people will invent lines you never drew. Because the public loves these moments for a reason that is not entirely flattering to us. We build these people into gods. We feel entitled to grab at them, and then we are shocked every time when one of them turns around and reminds us he is still a person who can say no. So, I want to know what you think. When a famous person shuts down a reporter, a photographer, or a heckler like this, are they finally enforcing a boundary every one of us would want? Or are some of them just powerful men who cannot stand being challenged? And in the case of someone like Tyson, where the disrespect was a hard truth about his own past, where exactly is the line between defending your dignity and dodging accountability? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I will catch you all in the next one.